It's Thursday. We're not in Ybor City. We're not in Kansas. We are in Tallahassee at the Rotunda on the third floor where all the laws are made and all the politicians are happy about it.
This could be Kansas.
This could be Kansas, but it's just not one of those kind of things.
Kansas, we're doing all the wrong things.
Well, he is trying to look really, really, serious today. He hasn't got a tie. But, well, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Gary Stein. I'm the political director of Suncoast NORML. And this is my co-host and deputy director, Carlos Ermida.
Hi. What's up, everybody?
And we are again coming from Tallahassee here on the Rotunda because we just came from a press conference that was introducing all the great new bills, all the fantastic new laws that could possibly happen in regards to legalization of cannabis and a whole host of other things. And we were going to go ahead and discuss some of the things that are going on as long as we're here right now. But he usually wears a hat, so I brought a hat.
He's in the hat today.
And also,
hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm going to try and talk louder because we're working off one microphone. But it's more important that you hear Gary anyways.
Yes, I am the more important of the two of us. But but I throw Carlos a bone, for goodness sakes. But we are trying to make laws here, and we are hopefully going to move things forward. But I think I'm going to go ahead and just well, first off, I do have my hat here that says Tikkun Olam because Melissa Villar, who is the director of Tallahassee NORML, is here, and she wanted me to do a conversation in Hebrew. But since I don't speak conversational Hebrew, I brought the Hebrew hat.
Getting samples ready here from New Green Organics, North Florida Hemp Farms.
So Melissa here is actually she's the reason why normal lobby days work so well. You see these like fancy like lists and everything. She puts all this together and makes all these meetings of legislators that we've talked to. So
by any chance, does this laptop have our logo?
Yeah.
With the song?
With the song.
Oh wait, yeah, we should have done that, shouldn't we?
Do that.
Intro.
Okay, hold on.
In my soul, marijuana in my heart.
I hope that.
Now, if it seems like we're disorganized, it's probably because we might be. Generally, we are unscripted, and today we're also discombobulated. I came over here leaving Tampa at around 4 o'clock in the morning. Got here 8 o'clock. We helped set this thing up. And we're getting a chance to talk to some of the legislators that are coming by and helping them know all that needs to be known about the cannabis bills so they can go ahead and vote on them as they're coming by. But let me just go ahead and take the hat off because and also because I don't have the sun in my eyes, I'll get rid of the sunglasses too. How about that? Does that work for you?
Have you, yeah, I mean, that's as long as I look better than you, that's the way it works. Have you done any meetings yet today? I haven't really been around this.
I have not done any meetings today because I've been busy trying to cover these tables.
Yes. And I just got back from lunch. You stepped out. You haven't even eaten that, haven't you, guy?
No, that's all right. I'm good for it. Hey, Wendy.
So yesterday we were able to meet with Senator Bobby Powell.
There you go.
And also I was able to meet with Jeff Brandis real quick.
Fantastic. What did Jeff say?
Jeff was a really quick meeting. And really it was just me and Lisa Lisa's over there. But we just basically like thanked him for the bills that he filed. He has like, how many bills does he have? Like 4 or 5 bills that he filed for marijuana reform?
That's right. And I helped write those bills, as a matter of fact. So.
Which bills did you help write?
Okay. Well, first off, the medical patient protection bill.
Yes.
Which makes it so that if you are institutionalized, your medicine, as in your cannabis medicine, is not considered illicit. And so therefore, they can't take it away from you. If you are in a assisted living facility, or if you are in a hospital, or if you are in a rehabilitation center, and if you are in need of an organ transplant, they can't take you off of the transplant list, which is so important. And we're trying to push that medical patient bill because we need to make certain that everybody gets their access to cannabis that allows them to be healthy. We also
did you help write all these bills?
no, not all the bills.
So well, like all the ones Brandis filed.
No, I did not help write the telehealth bills.
The telehealth bills.
Those came from another source.
Okay, but you helped with
Okay.
The reciprocity.
Wait, we got another guest over here. So, Jody, you got to come over here. Ladies and gentlemen, from Florida Can, the premier cannabis organization since the 1990s, Jody James.
Hi guys, how's it going?
What have you been doing today, Jody?
Stirring up trouble.
But good trouble, right?
Yeah, good trouble. We had a meeting this morning in professions and public health, which is where kind of all of the bane of our existence and all good things that are to come in the future start. So we had helped some of the Democrats with the questions that were asked of the OMMU. We're particularly concerned because we can't get our form yet that'll allow us to have more than a 2.5 ounce supply every 35 days. So you'll see a video that we're putting out called The Barefoot Florida Caregiver. This is a gentleman who lost both of his hands in an industrial accident, and his wife is blind. In all of his existence, he's used cannabis, and he has learned how to roll cannabis cigarettes with his feet. So he rolls, and oddly enough, none of the delivery devices that are available through MMTCs work for a guy with 30-year-old hooks.
Desperation is the mother of invention, isn't it?
Isn't this something? So he can roll. Now, the price of cannabis, as we all know, is just outrageous in the legal market.
That's why I was wondering why would everybody want 4 ounces a month if that would cost them approximately $1,000?
Well, he's able to get the shake. And, there are sales and you can buy on deals. And so he buys the shake and he rolls it with his feet. But 2.5 ounces is not enough. And so when you get over your 2.5 ounces, then you need to get concentrates or another delivery form. And there are no other delivery forms that he can use with his hooks. So we put that video out showing
you've seen him roll like have you
got a video on YouTube.
Have you smoked a joint he's rolled with his feet?
That would be illegal. But before 2012, I guess it wasn't diversion. We were all criminals back then. Yeah, people do ask about that. He's very clean.
By the way, we call it the legacy market.
I'm honestly, because we had a joint rolling contest like 6 months ago. I'm wondering how fast he is, what form, was it a good joint?
It's an amazing joint. You can actually watch it on YouTube. It's called The Barefoot Sunshine Caregiver. And it's a little campaign that we did in 2013 where we asked, it's before we had cannabis legal. We said, what would you do? So this man has no hands and his wife is blind. And what he was willing to do is learn how to roll cannabis for himself and his wife. And he learned how to do it. He uses his feet and he's got hooks. And I think it's embarrassing to a state as wealthy as Florida that a Floridian has the same hooks that are 30 years old and that this man with no arms can't get a new set. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Do you know Olivia Faith Bambus by any chance?
Do I know what?
Olivia Faith Bambus. She ran for
I
Senate
do
a couple of years
not.
ago in Sarasota.
Bambus.
Yeah,
Okay.
she is a woman who
yeah.
does not have any arms. She was born that way.
I remember
But she does
her.
amazing things with her feet.
Amazing things. And that's what this guy, he is really amazing. But, we're not thinking about the fact that, it may be easy for me to go like this and puff on my vaporizer, but that's just not a motion that works with his claws. But he has figured out what works for him. I know you guys agree with me. When we started talking about making sure that patients had legal access to cannabis,
Right.
we weren't talking about this crazy program. We were talking about making sure that people who had been using cannabis for a very long time were able to continue to use what they needed without worrying about being a criminal.
Well, that is the problem with regulation. It tends to complicate things.
It does. It really does. We have to be careful what we ask for.
Yeah, and that's why when the first regulated Florida bill came through, said it was too long. And the Floridians for Freedom bill is much shorter than it.
121 words.
And what will the Floridians for Freedom bill do if it ever does get a chance to get on the ballot?
Well, I think it establishes our fundamental right So we had this discussion in public health this morning where the Republican said, well, wait a minute, isn't cannabis Schedule 1? Yep. Well, doesn't Schedule 1 mean there's no medicinal value? Yep. Well, wait a minute, aren't we saying there's medicinal value here? And yep. Are you saying that we're using it and it's safe? Yep. So even the Republicans get that we don't belong in Schedule 1 anymore. So when you start thinking about what we do once it's not Schedule 1, if it's Schedule 2, we're in trouble.
Right.
If it's Schedule 3, every medical marijuana program in the state has to retool because we're not Schedule 2. If we remove it from the criminal statutes, that's fabulous. Remove it from Schedule 1. But at the end of the day, I believe that having a functioning endocannabinoid system means that I have a fundamental right to it. And fundamental rights is what we put in the Constitution, at least the way I was raised, that's a document that's supposed to be a living, breathing body of rights that were reserved to the individual. Now, we've changed that a lot in the last 25, 30 years and decisions that have happened, but I'm still a fundamentalist and believe that that's a core right, and that as an individual, I have a core right to this plant. So that's all we're really trying to do. I think we'll do a better job of regulating something that's legal than we do of regulating something that's illegal. Go figure.
Speaking of the length of a regulation,
Okay.
Representative Hinson did a press conference today in regards to her bill, which is a very good bill. It's very comprehensive, but was it 182 pages? Is that correct?
Yeah, so they do that when they want to intimidate people. The bill itself is probably 35 pages, and the other 100 pages are citations. Because really, when we start talking about legalizing marijuana, we're going to have to pull a lot of bad language out of a lot of statutes, because cannabis is not just illegal in one place, it's illegal in a lot of places.
Right.
So we have a big mess to fix. So Florida Can has been here in Tallahassee since 2010, and we've always set up the war room. We're very proud of that. I told him I think this year we're going to have the laundry room, because really all we're trying to do is clean up the mess and iron out the details. So
amazing.
You come visit our laundry room anytime.
We will do that.
Cleaning up the mess and ironing out the details.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And by the way, Jody's having a lobby day of her own on the 24th of January. And you're welcome to come up to Tallahassee and talk to the representatives, talk to the senators, and push the bills and let them know how important it is to them.
Absolutely. Oh, and you really get an excellent idea about the process. Florida Cannabis Action Network, our day starts at 9 a.m. Some tours of the Capitol. We're actually going to take over the Senate chamber, and we're going to debate a bill, and you'll get to push the button and see your answer record on the big screen. I think we'll probably
Can I be Simpson?
You can be anybody you want, and I would love to know what we should be debating, right? Because we're certainly not going to debate legalization.
No, but I can talk about egg farms.
If you want to be Senator Simpson, you certainly can. Now you play nice. He may be our Commissioner of Agriculture.
Most likely, because he really doesn't have much of. I would love for Ryan Morales to win, but unfortunately, he doesn't have the kind of money that Senator Simpson has.
And Senator Simpson is well known, and he's going to do fine on our. Most people do not realize that it was in that we got our very first hemp bill, and it was Senator Simpson that made that happen. So
Absolutely.
He has been in favor of this for a very long time. So it's really exciting to see NORML up here. Gary, I'm sure you have told people what an impact you have had on not just this session, but every session as we write language and debate bills that move us closer to some sensible policies. Your name can never be.
I found out that my home cannabis cultivation center is actually embedded into Senator Potts' bill.
Don't we love it?
That is so nice. I did not know that because I didn't have a chance to read it because it's kind of long. But I'll go ahead and look at it because apparently my language is right in there. So we have to move that forward, don't we? Because we all want home grow, don't we? And this is a version of home grow that they will appreciate because it's regulatable, but it is home grow and it is your grow. That is so important.
There we go. Well, and the relationship we have with the plant as patients and as human beings, not just as patients, but as human beings. If you can get in and you can nurture that plant and that plant can nurture you, it can really help with so many things that ail us, not just the medicine, but the whole relationship with the plant.
Right.
I'm a fan. Who knew I was sold on cannabis?
Who knew?
All right. Well, thanks for the time, guys.
All right, you take care.
See you later.
It's so good to have all the advocates out here in Tallahassee to try to make things happen, because there are a lot of people who have come to our booth today, and they are representatives and senators, and they ask me questions like, so what just is CBD? Is it legal? Just simple, basic. Senators are asking that. Senator staffs are asking that. Representatives are asking that.
Wow.
And it just goes to show you that we are here to educate the legislate. And that is what is so important, because you can't vote on something you don't understand.
Yeah.
And once they understand it, it helps things go so much farther. Now, I'm going to try to grab any other representatives or senators that do come by, although I think they're trying to avoid us.
I just think they see the microphone and they're just like walk past.
That is the way it works. But
I can't recognize anybody.
well, I know a few of them, and they know they know me too. As a matter of
I
fact,
know you.
'Cause
You're a
I've-
popular guy.
I've been kind of a thorn on their side for quite a few years now. But that's okay, because once we can train them to bend to our will, that's not going to happen. But
Maybe you're the reason why they're avoiding the table.
well, actually, the problem is, see, they're politicians and they want to get a word in edgewise, and I don't always let that happen. But that is just the way it is. Politicians like to talk, so I've heard. But that is how they get elected. And speaking of how they get elected, it is so important for these people to understand that we as the voters are the ones that let them get into office. And this is an election year. So if you have a legislator, okay, if you have a legislator in your district, a senator or representative who is possibly not on board with the bills that you want to see going, let them know that you as the voter will vote for them if they move these bills forward. Now, this is not to mean that you're going to be a single issue voter, but let them know this issue is important to you, and it's going to come into that decision that you make in regards to who you vote for. And that is important.
Did you see this thing that Melissa made?
Or that, I mean, the schedule,
Not just the schedule, but the little handout.
a little handout of all the bills.
Got our logo on it too.
Wow.
Normal Tallahassee logo.
Yeah, and it's good to know that NORML is actually represented here on paper and in the bills.
So I mean, this is essentially a list of all the bills that affect marijuana reform
Mhm.
and how we stand on many of these topics. Yeah, and I mean, this is a pretty long list. This is actually kind of an exciting time because it seems like there's a lot going on with cannabis reform.
It is.
And more so than any other time that I've been up here.
Now, I got to say, we do have a major issue, and that
What
is
is
the
it?
fact that these bills have been filed, but in order for them to move forward, they have to get into committee. They have to pass their committee before they can get to the floor of the House or the Senate and be voted on. If they can't get to that point, they go nowhere. They, as Representative Greco calls, DOF, or dead on filing. So they get filed, but they go nowhere. And so that's why it's important that you contact them and let them know we want to see these bills get a hearing in a committee so they can be discussed. If they can be discussed, we have a chance of convincing them to move them forward. If they don't get into a committee, then they are essentially dead. And we don't want that to happen because we've got so many darn good bills. Now, we have a House bill and a Senate bill that is an employee protection bill, which basically states that if you are a public employee and you have a medical card, you can't lose your job because of the fact that you have a medical card. And that is so important because the Americans with Disabilities Act claims that if you have a disabling condition, then you must have accommodations through your job. And that means that if you are a medical cannabis patient, you have the right to your medicine so that you can work. And if it does not affect your performance, there should be no reason why you should lose your job or be prevented from getting a job if you have a medical card. And that bill is in the House and the Senate, and it can move forward if we can get it into committee. And again, we have the medical patient bill, which also says that your medicine is not illicit, and so or you can move forward with that. And we also have the reciprocity bill, which basically states that if you are a medical patient from another state, you can come here and buy your medicine here. So people who are medical patients who want to have a vacation in Florida don't come here on vacation and leave on probation, because that is so important. And there's no reason why a person who has a medical card in another state can't come here and have a medical and purchase medical products here in Florida. Almost every other state that has a medical program allows reciprocity, with the possible exception of Florida. And we have to move that forward.
We would probably benefit the most from all those states.
Absolutely. I mean, think of how many more patients who are coming on vacation will be able to stay on vacation, because one of the basic reasons you might not go on vacation is because of the fact that somebody in the family is ill. So if grandma is ill, don't make her sneak her medicine onto a plane or have to drive all the way from who knows where to sneak it in the trunk. Let's make certain that people can have access to genuine Florida products.
Only the finest.
Only the finest products.
Finest Florida marijuana
products here in Florida, and move them forward. And what other bills did we discuss? We discussed at least 4 different legalization bills today of various lengths. One of them is actually 214 pages, but they all have great things about it, including expungement of previous records. No reason why, if you had a possession charge 20 years ago or 10 years ago, that you should be blocked from being able to get scholarships, to get housing, to get jobs. And that's what happens when you have a possession charge that's in your record that has not been expunged. And you can get expunged nowadays, but it's kind of expensive, isn't it, Carlos?
It's very expensive. Oh my gosh. I don't know how much it is now, but back when I had it done, it was pretty bad.
We're talking about high 4 figures, aren't we?
I don't know. It's a lot of fucking use. It depends on the attorney you get and things like that. But it's fucking up there. It's definitely up there. It could be more than like a couple grand. Yeah. So I see a lot of these bills are companion, right? So
right.
There's bills in both the Senate and the House. You're talking about like the whole debt on filing thing. And what are the chances of any of these bills making it to committee?
It depends on who pushes them.
Okay.
It really, really does. And now I know that the executive branch, the guy who has that office downstairs in the basement, the one with the ears.
Yeah.
I kid the governor, seriously, and truly, and normally, but he is saying that he will not allow legalization or adult use cannabis in the state of Florida on his watch, which is a shame, because that might prevent him from getting reelected. And we do have somebody who is actually running for that office who would allow that, don't we?
Yeah.
That would be our Commissioner, Nikki Freed.
And there's isn't Charlie Crist for it too?
And Charlie Crist is also for it as well.
Is he gonna run as well?
He is running right now, and Nikki and Governor Crist, Senator Crist, Congressman Crist, a Republican Democrat independent, but a nice guy and the ultimate, the commensurate politician, is actually very much in favor of cannabis bills, and he wants to see them move forward as well, especially when it comes to veterans' access to cannabis, which he has for in Congress. And so we'd like to see those move forward. But Nikki and Chris will be in a primary runoff, and most likely that person will go up against DeSantis unless he's getting ready for a presidential run. We don't know if that's going to happen or not, do we?
Well, I hope not. Well, if he becomes president, then it's like he's the governor of Florida of the United States. So,
well, they do call the governor is an executive position, just like the president is an executive position.
I don't want to see that guy. That guy's been horrible.
Well, we've had some disagreements, and I'll grant you, he did push forward the right to use flower at the very beginning. It's a shame it didn't go farther after that, though.
He even specifically said that there was a cartel over the cannabis industry during that press conference. But yeah, I mean, he definitely said that they're not on his watch. And as a matter of fact, Recently we were told that the Regulate Florida petition is actually going to be shooting for the 2024 ballot. So if anything's going to happen, at least now it's going to be these bills.
Well, here's the problem that Regulate Florida has right now. They have until February, which is only a couple weeks away, to get 287,000 petitions. And what do they have right now? About 8,000, correct?
Yeah.
And that's after sending out, what, 90,000 flyers?
There's no point in spending any more money on that campaign.
So they're actually looking now to 2024. And the question is, can we ever get a ballot measure in with the kind of laws they have right now against ballots moving forward? You don't have too many ballot measures moving forward unless somebody's got a couple $1 million to put into it, like what happened with Amendment 2. And there aren't any more Morgans out there to try to push these things forward. Oh, I think I saw Spencer Roach go by, and I think he just ran away. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it wasn't him. But one bill that we are looking forward is the Larned and Roach bill coming up. That Andrew Larned.
Not so much.
Well, there is.
We are meeting with Larned after this show.
That's right, and it is an interesting bill, and it does have some of the things that we wanted. Unfortunately, as it was being moved forward, as it was being built, a lot of the things were taken off that we would hope would have been on. That would include employee protection, patient protection, and a number of other things. But one good thing is that we got Representative Roach to take the cap away. That he just doesn't have the stomach for it anymore, I would suppose.
The 10% cap for banning of most of hemp. So I don't know how well that's going to work.
And it also has provisions in there in regards to telemedicine, because we did have during the COVID event, everybody had access to telemedicine. But that went away, of course, when the governor stopped that. And now we were trying to get that telemedicine back, in part for every other appointment after the initial exam. The initial exam will still have to be in person, but after that, we will be able to have it telehealth. And the bill that Larned and Roach put together actually does stretch out that time period between times you have to go to the doctor. And it also makes the licenses every 2 years instead of every 1 year. There was supposed to be a bill in there that would give free cards to veterans and to people who have not monetary problems like the folks on SSDI, but that was taken out of the bill. But from what I understand, it's possibly still on the table.
Yeah, with Cruz.
And so
SB 556.
that is the Senate version.
This list is killer work. Listen.
We will work on this. We are working on it every single day. And if you want to join us in this venture, join Suncoast NORML. Go to www.suncoastnormal.org and join us. And you can get fancy pins like I have over here on my jacket, and we have over here. Anybody else who wants to join, there you go. He doesn't wear the jacket; he carries the jacket. That is just how casual Carlos is. But we plan on moving these bills forward. There you go. There's the Sinatra look.
Join Suncoast NORML. Follow us on social media at Suncoast NORML, NORML.
This is the first week of session.
Yeah.
Session goes on for 60 days.
60 days.
And that is going to be a race to the top, right?
Right.
Or the bottom, whichever way it works.
We're so screwed.
No, I think that we can get some things accomplished this year that we haven't gotten accomplished before. And we are sincerely hoping that that's going to happen.
I hope so.
All right. We are going to go visit with Representative Larned now, and we're going to see if we can iron out a few things that we can make move forward. But this is Gary Stein, your political director for Suncoast NORML, and
Carlos Mina, Deputy Director, Suncoast NORML.
And Chris Cano, our executive director, is actually back from the Dominican Republic and somewhere above the Beltway, but not here in Tallahassee right now because he's got work to do over there. But he is on your side as well, and we are all pushing for this together, and we're all pushing together for you.